I don't think there is any unit in Stario that doesn't age well as these three. But Yanshin has been discussed to death with his detriment flaw of can't be hit. And I don't have him. However, I have both Gepard and Bailu, and I still actively use them. So I think I can give them a proper feedback. Even though I titled the video like this, I have zero expectation that they will ever get a buff or rework or something along the line of Arknight's module system, Fate Grant or rank up quest, or punishing Greater when sleep upgrade. This is just a fun topic that I want to talk about. Huh? What's that? Isn't it a bit hypocritical to do this video when I was the one who defended these two in its first place? Yeah, I guess. But even though I do this video, I still believe in what I've said in that video, which is about cleanse. Isn't that necessary? And since these two are the only two sustain units without cleanse, so I used these two to draw a comparison with, at the time, other sustain unit with cleanse capability. And now, with the upcoming limited sustain unit like Lingsha, there is less and less reason for anyone who has limited sustain unit to use these two. And anyone who doesn't have limited sustain unit will feel more and more left behind. Thanks to power creep and specifically a certain dead man who at this point should have been a 5-star unit. So can that really be fixed? Actually, yeah. So let's start with Gepard, since he is easier to discuss than Bailu. Because, well, you realistically need him because of his shield, that's it. Poor boy. His skill is a meme at best, useless at worst, which is most of the time. Since, you know, he has the second slowest base speed in the game. The slowest title goes to Clara, who doesn't even care about that because, well, what is he going to freeze? You must. On top of unbearable low speed, his skill isn't even that reliable when it comes to freeze, because it only has 65% base chance to freeze enemy. 65 base chance on a unit that wants to build either defense or speed? Really? Mitsuki doesn't have a guarantee freeze either, but at the very least, her freeze ties to her ult, which means she can action skip elites or bosses given she has enough EHR. i.e. she can comfortably run a full effect hit rate build or hybrid defense EHR build without losing anything. And her skill also provides aggro value manipulation, meaning she has some synergy with these two. While Gepard doesn't have any benefit when you've invested in hit rates. And let's not forget, what is this? What is going on with third major trace? Why? His trace stat bonus is ice damage. None of his attack has sky scaling for damage. Can anyone explain this to me? How is it synergistic or help him do any of his job? Now, at this point you might think I'll bitch and moan about his self-revives and the second major trace too, since most of the time, here will be your last standing member. The guy is a certified brick shithouse. But these seemingly useless passives still have some use cases, albeit very niche. Like, it can still clutch you a win sometime in MOC if RNG bless you with most of the damage goes to him. Or you can comfortably farm in a domain by letting him be in a red health, and that is going to guarantee you 2 shield per domain run. So it's not that bad to the point I want to pull my hair out. Still pretty close though. So, how do I want to fix him? Well, before I get to that, let's establish something first. The fix I give these two will not drastically change their kit that much to the point where you, in this hypothetical scenario, have to put in more resource than just a set of code and UI change on their kits, because in the actual development, it still takes resource like manpower, time, and money. For Gepard, it's really easy and very realistic too. If they were to actually give him some nice bone, they can just literally swap his first and fourth Eidolon, and there, he's much better. Yeah, sure, 20% effect rest isn't that much in today's standards. However, it's still a nice breakpoint for some build and certain support units. With this Eidolon, you literally have a free broken heal activate without the need to have effect rest in your support relic substack. And if your support already hit 30% condition for broken heal, 20% effect rest is also a nice addition. Increase the odds of not getting debuff is useful. But for me, ideally, I change his bonus stat from ice damage to speed, then change his third major trace into increase Gepard EHR by 3% of his current defense, capped at X%. Change his skill to grant Landau's duty effect to himself for 1 turn. As for animation, just make him stand there and give him some effects. Landau's duty increase the chance of him being targeted by enemy units. If he is hit during Landau's duty is active, launch counterattack, which use the current skill animation, with 65% base chance to freeze enemy. Change his talent to every time Gepard freeze enemy, regenerate 5 energy to himself. Change his second major trace to when Landau's duty is active, Gepard gain 70% effect rest. Move the current talent to E6 with a tweak and give additional effects. When ally or himself is struck with killing blow, take damage and the effect of become knocked down, then immediately revives himself and restore 80% of his max HP. Restore 100% of his energy. If he receives killing blow in place of the other party member, give that party member a rejuvenation effect. Restore 250 HP for each turn for 3 turns. Upon revive, give the following permanent buff to the entire party. 300 flat attack, 10% defense, 25% effect rest. This effect can trigger once per battle. And there, he's pretty okay. Will he be able to completely outshine Aventurine and Fusion with this buff and rework? Probably not. At least not until E6. He doesn't provide anything to end the game quicker, no offensive buff or debuff unless you run him with Yomi and use the Trend LC. He is a standard preservation unit as long as he exists. Your character won't die that easily, and that's his job. Think of him as a benchmark line of what a good preservation unit looks like. Now, move on to Bailu, the cutest and the funniest characters miHoYo has ever released. Okay, her problem has been decided by Starry community as I have shown in my cleanse video. So I'm not going to repeat those, but just give her cleanse sound so lame and not that interesting, so I'm not going to do that. Let's move on to another problem that people have with her, the bouncing heal. Many people really don't like this skill due to its inconsistency, which is understandable. I think everyone has been there. But in my opinion, this isn't a problem, or at least, it's not to the point some people make it out to be. At the end of the day, this skill is still a single target healing skill. My reasoning is, only its first hit has full multiplier, and it's just as potent as any single target healing skill. Just treat this skill like them and the other 2 bounce as a bonus. Yes, I know this doesn't fix the problem, and quite literally, a cope. But her invigorate already provides a lot of benefits. If we give her any more than this, she might as well delete the needs of other sustain unit for casual players. But for the sake of the video, let's give her, if Bailu heal any unit with invigorate buff with this skill, extend invigorate duration by 1 turn and can be triggered 1 more time to her skill. Here comes the actual first fix, not just an afterthought like the previous skill. Okay. First, let's remove the above their normal max HP clause from her second major trace and increase the max HP bonus to 20%. Increase her damage reduction to 15% in her third major trace. Next is her talent, but let me preface something first. For me, between Bailu and Gepard, Bailu has always been on the offensive-oriented side. How? She allows you to play much riskier than you generally play, thanks to her one-time revive. Sometimes you can recall the, oh, I have to spend SP on sustain unit to get their means of provide EHP backs up. For a balance unit, the means is generally their ultimate, and Bailu kinda alleviate that mindset to a certain extent, allow you to be more aggressive, thus potentially has a faster clear time than Gepard. But her revive only trigger once. Her talent is literally a safety net just in case of RNG BS happened. So I propose that she gets something to her talent. Revive now has 2 charges max as a part of her base kit, but she still starts out with 1 charge. If her accumulated healing exceeds the threshold, gains revive charge and reset the accumulated healing counter to 0. Overheal does not count towards the charge. And to compensate for the change to her talent, Have Bailu is exchanged to Invigorate can trigger up to 5 times, 6 times if the first major trace is included. Every time Invigorate is triggered, the healing will always count toward the charge for gain revive stack, regardless of it is already healed or not. Give ally effect rest 40% and increase attack 20% for 3 turns when Invigorate ends. That sounds very busted, right? Because it is, but only on paper. She's still the same old Bailu, it's just that her true value isn't just a one-time thing. This allows you to be more aggressive, while still retain the same flow and the need to get a better or more convenient sustained unit. My goal is to make them into a viable choice in the endgame content, specifically stuff past the first year. Not completely be broken, because well, you know, it's just a small indie studio, they still have to make monies, you know? There will be more Can They Be Safe video if I finally decide to build and play with certain unit in the future. If you want to see my take on a certain unit, you can look forward to that. But for now, I thank you very much for watching until this point. I hope you guys have a good night and a great day ahead of you. Bye bye!